Hey guys, it's Pastor Ty here with another morning meditation, a short video to center our hearts in uncertain times. Ever feel like God has called you to something, to do something, but you don't completely understand? You have a choice to make, to be obedient or to keep doing it your way because you trust your way more than God's way possibly? See, being a Christian isn't always easy. And many won't understand why you may choose to do the things the way that you do. Hence this story about Noah and the ark that we find in Genesis 6. And I'm going to read a short passage of scripture here, starting with verse 7 in chapter 6. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping things, and the fowls of the air, for it makes me upset that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord in verse 8. I want you to think about Noah this morning. I want you to think about a man that was living in one of the worst times of the world, a sinful world, so much so that God repented for making mankind. He had a plan, and it was going to be to destroy the world with a flood. Now, keep in mind that it had never rained on the earth before this time, and I'm not sure what Noah experienced. I'm not sure what he went through. I'm not sure what he was facing. Maybe he was facing critiques from his family. Maybe he was facing issues with people in the community. You never know what you're going to encounter, but he starts to build a boat, a big boat, an ark. And if you've ever been to the Art Museum in Kentucky, you can get an idea of how big this boat really was. And I can't imagine what people were saying about Noah at this time. But Noah cared more about the Lord than he did about the naysayers. He feared the Lord mightily, and because of this, he was separate from the rest of the world. He had a calling on his life, and he was obedient to that. And so I want to remind you that the promise that God gave Noah didn't come to pass in the first 10 years, the first 20, the first 50. It came after 120 years. Noah built an ark, and Noah was faithful. And even though I'm sure he may have been mocked, we don't know that, but I can only assume, year by year, and even his family may have doubted. We don't know that. But I know so many times, people have mocked me for my faith and asked me why I'm so committed to God. And, we talk about previous generations that they said, the Lord's coming back. And we haven't seen it. And it's been saying that for years upon years. I want to let you know today that while we don't understand everything in this life, we understand that God's promises are true and they are good. And regardless of how many years it may be, I'm going to keep my faith in the Lord, my obedience in the Lord. You won't always have the answers to everything, but you just have to stay obedient, building that ark. I think that's so important today, guys. I can't tell you how all this is going to play out. All I know is I'm going to keep building that ark because Noah saved his family because of his obedience. And if we expect to be saved, we have to keep in line with our Father. And we do that in a lot of different ways. Reading the Word, praying, fasting, seeking God, loving people as we love ourselves. Guys, we have to stay obedient today and know whatever may come, the flood, the fire, the rain, whatever, God has us in our hands.